Hello people, I'm Vito, and welcome back to some more custom Robo with Robberlink.
Hello.
So where we left off, we beat up Oboro with the help of Sergei, and Rahu got away again.
Yep.
And now Sergei is explaining stuff about his old boss, who is apparently our dad, or Dude Man's dad, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's talking about what he talked to him about seeing inconsistencies with the world. I don't know if I said the specific line yet, but I'll say it again just in case. With that, we parted ways. I thought about what he said, but I couldn't find any inconsistencies. That's because there are none.
Roy, be quiet and listen. Continue, Sergei.
Then, suddenly, I found it. It was right in front of me from the start. When I returned home, I saw my sister waiting for me, and it struck me. The inconsistency, that single, unexplainable thing. It was Marsha, her special power.
Huh?
Her strange power was a gift, and my late parents, they were suffering.
Wait. Late as in deceased. But they were still suffering? What?
They were suffering in their graves.
Sergei.
To all appearances, Marsha was an ordinary girl. And yet, the kids teased her. The scientists poked and prodded. Let me try again. The scientists poked and prodded, and still they learned nothing. Marsha didn't want to go, but the researchers forced her, kicking and screaming. So that's why Marsha hated the Robo researchers. She did?
She did seem kind of uncomfortable around them.
She seemed uncomfortable around everyone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's like, how would we tell? I found out what they did to Marsha at the research center. It wasn't science, it was torture. They said that all people are created equal, but my sister's power stole equality from her.
She was more equal than others.
And that is something that had to be corrected. If this isn't an inconsistency, then what is? How did I go so long without questioning this? I couldn't wait. Once I'd seen the inconsistency clearly, I had to leave to meet that man again. I told him about Marsha, and he said, in order to understand, you must know everything. And he told me the real truth. Something even most Class S commanders do not know. There's more? Oh god.
Strap in.
The real truth.
What? What do you mean?
You're all aware that centuries ago, Rahu nearly wiped out the human race.
Yeah, we were told that Rahu annihilated all the domed cities people lived in, except for ours.
You were never told the truth about the outside world. You believe we lived in domes up here?
Well, yeah. I mean, where else would we live?
We lived free in the outside world. We lived in vast cities, in the open air. Rahu destroyed all of that.
What? Really?
I kind of thought they made that clear already, but okay. But then again, we live in the real world, so
True.
we already assume that. Originally, humans didn't live in doomed cities.
Well, they were doomed eventually.
Originally, humans didn't live in domed cities. We lived outside. The outside world was our home.
Rahu destroyed all of our cities centuries ago. The few who survived, they found an area that had minimal damage, and with the help of Robo technology, they built a dome to create a livable environment for a new community. I see. We hadn't heard about that part. We thought people had always lived inside those domes.
You are correct. But there is still more that you do not know.
One more thing.
Hiya! Jackie!
Dodman!
Dudman! The dome builders left Rahu inoperable in the outside world before they sealed themselves in.
Sergei? It sounds like you're saying we deliberately chose to live in a cage, like animals.
Da 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 da.
Why?
It's just the Attack on Titan theme.
I know, but why?
Because that's the whole thing. It's like they decided to live inside the walls that protected him from the Titans.
Okay, true.
That was like a thing that, like, I don't know if it was
I do see that.
the protagonist or the narrator that said, you know, it's like living in a cage or something like that. So it was very drilled into your head if you actually paid attention to it.
Got it.
That's right. The dome protects us, but it also keeps us trapped. Caged.
I mean, it seemed like it was pretty easy to get outside. It's more of the people inside that stop you than the dome itself.
Had to go through a freaking bathroom.
Wait a sec. You said Rahu was an operative. So how did we stop Rahu last time?
Oh, saving.
Really? Now it saves.
If we had gone on, well, it would have been like 8 minutes. I don't know. We also did some syncing, so probably not quite 8 minutes, but yeah. It would have been an over 40-minute episode at that point. Rahu possessed no form of its own. It was more like a spirit than a living creature. What? No form? That doesn't make any sense. We saw it. It looked like a custom Robo. I'll explain that later. Let me continue though. Originally, Rahu was invisible, formless, but still physical, still capable of inflicting damage. I'm sorry if my accent goes a little bit German unintentionally, but I'm trying my best. We couldn't see it, but it was a real creature, and it evolved rapidly. Evolved? Not in the traditional sense, but yes, that's correct. Rahu has two fundamental behaviors. The first is to acquire new targets, in this case, us. Once it identifies its prey, Rahu destroys it, swiftly and utterly. It appropriates any useful abilities its victim possessed. Anything it has not encountered before. Then, like a chrysalis, it goes dormant, awakens with new skills, and continues its hunt. Metamorphosis. I guess it really is evolving.
Sounds like Zurich.
Kind of.
Except one creature instead of...
One invisible Zerg.
Yes. Right, I'm voicing him.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that it targets a creature with abilities it doesn't have and steals them. Then it turns into a pupa, rests for a bit, and changes into an even scarier monster. Yeah, that's just about the size of it.
The kind of, I guess, creepier thing about that would be that the only way they could determine that would be by the fact that it's using new powers, because they can't see that it looks different.
Theoretically, yeah.
That's just a secondary behavior, though. Its primary function is to annihilate every living thing.
So it's invisible, it can learn to do everything we can do, and all it wants is to kill... everything.
Right.
So what can we do? I mean, other than just roll over and die. How did they stop it hundreds of years ago when it was running amok?
Custom Robos. It was because of custom Robos that they were able to defeat Rahu.
Custom Robos?
Yes. Back then, custom Robos were nothing but children's toys. Did I say children's accidentally?
Close enough.
Back then, custom Robos were nothing but children's toys, like robotic action figures. It may sound strange, but even now, there is much we do not know about custom Robos, even though we created them.
I was about to say that.
Rahu's destructive rampage was at its peak, and we were all but extinct, when suddenly Rahu targeted a young child's Robo toy. Then something inexplicable happened. Rahu merged with the Robo, melded itself with the Robo.
That's weird. Why'd it do that?
Because it was new and shiny. I'm not sure. Some people think there's a connection between Rahu and the custom Robo.
It almost sounds like Rahu did a dive into that custom Robo and, I don't know, got stuck or something.
And that's why Rahu looks like That's why and that's why Rahu looks the way it does now. That's why we can even see it in the first place. That's correct. Now that our enemy was visible, we had a chance to fight back, and we seized it. The government remodeled the custom robos as weapons to battle Rahu's new Robo form. Finally, after many grueling battles, we defeated Rahu. Actually, let me correct myself. We didn't defeat it, but we were able to trigger its dormant cycle. The dormant Rahu had no new information to assimilate, and so it didn't evolve and didn't awaken. We couldn't destroy Rahu, though. Instead, we bought ourselves some time.
So that's the rest of the story. We didn't know. But wait.
There's more.
Don't you think that's a little funny? Rahu was capable of destroying the entire world, and we stopped it with I keep wanting to say children. And we stopped it with a child's toy.
I know what you're thinking. Rahu couldn't be stopped simply with the custom robos. There was something else. A device designed to stop Rahu by targeting his robo systems.
A device?
Sergei, why should we trust you? You're a member of the Z Syndicate now, and a traitor. Even if you're telling the truth, why does it matter? What's your point? You're right. It doesn't matter. Let's go die now. Let me ask you, Roy. When did you first find out about Rahu's attack? Why are you suddenly... I first learned about the truth when I became a Class S commander. How about you, Commander? Sorry, you're not promoted yet. How about you, Captain Mira?
It was the same. I didn't know a thing until I was promoted.
Don't you think that's odd?
What?
This is the single most significant and traumatic event in human history, and no one knows?
It's classified knowledge. The government dictates who should and should not know.
That is very scary thinking. But how could they stop the survivors from passing on these stories to their children? The people respect the word of the government. They knew it was confidential.
That is BS and you know it.
Do you actually believe the government has the power to silence such a terrible thing? Can you think of any other reason why no one ever talked about this horrific event?
It does seem difficult to imagine. So many years have passed and nobody knew the full scope of it. Even becoming a Class S commander didn't explain everything.
The reason this is such a well-kept secret is not because the survivors chose to keep it a secret. There's no other, sorry. It's because their memories were wiped clean. It is a secret because no one was allowed to remember.
What? Oh, for crying out. Look, this is all starting to get real confusing here.
I was just thinking this is where we figure out that Sergei is just like a full-on conspiracy theorist.
No backing whatsoever. It's just all assumptions.
It's like, and the world really is flat. So they got that right.
So, what you're saying is that everyone, and I mean everyone, forgot about Rahu entirely.
That's correct.
That's impossible. What could possibly make everyone just forget about this all at once?
Oh, nothing could make that happen, naturally.
Are you saying someone devised a way to erase every living human's memory entirely?
Yes. The engineers of this foolish plan wanted to erase everyone's memories and implant false ones. Our government carried out this plan hundreds of years ago, once the dome was completed. What?
The government found a way to make everyone forget about Rahu.
Yes. The world exists entirely within this dome. Outside the dome, there is nothing. We are all raised thinking that this dome is our true home, where we will live and die. That is the great lie. The memory implant told us all that this dome contained mankind's entire world. But why? Rahu will awaken. It is inevitable. Could you live a normal life knowing Rahu would return? But never knowing when? I see. It was to give us a sense of security, even if it was just a lie.
But how is that possible? What could possibly erase everyone's memory like that?
I don't know, but they did it. They made a device that could erase everyone's memory.
Have you heard that enough times by now? I can't believe it. I'm sure we would have heard of something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you would have heard of the thing that they used to make you forget about it. Captain Nira, I've already told you. There are some things not even Class S commanders have been told. How do we know you didn't make this whole story up? I suppose you have no evidence, except that one of the devices still exists to this very day. Really? Where is it?
I got it! Harry, you do? It's at the lab. The custom Robo research lab. That's why the Z Syndicate was there.
You're right. You're the man, Harry.
Ha 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 ha.
No, it's not at the lab. I thought so. Harry's not that smart. There's no way he could have figured it out before me. So, where is it? Dude man. Yes? Your father's watch. That's the device. It can erase people's memories. You've had it all along.
What? Dude man's watch?
So it really is contraband.
That's why Z's leader said something about defeating Rahu with Dude Man's watch. They did?
I see. The device that was used to defeat Rahu was the one that could erase people's memories.
What?
That's not what I said. But I guess that's correct. So here we go.
Continuing with my conspiracy theory.
That you are adding to. Yes, hundreds of years ago, that very device helped us defeat Rahu.
Sergei? Why does Dude Man have it? How did something like that wind up with him? What was Dude Man's father like?
He was a distinguished scientist, one of the highest ranking officials in the government. That is why he told me the truth. That is why he was told the truth. We all live with false memories implanted by the government. When he learned that people had been deprived of the truth for so long, he began to have doubts. He questioned the ethics of the plan, and he knew that Rahu would rise once again. Marsha, my leader told me where your power came from. It is the result of the erasure, a side effect. Right now, every aspect of the brain's development is controlled. The side effect was unexpected. Nobody realized that the dramatic change in environment and the memory blocks and implants would generate this effect. No one could explain what exactly created Marsha's power. Marsha, your power is born from the tragedy humans suffered hundreds of years ago.
Huh?
And saving again. Jeez, it's been like 20 minutes of just talking.
Let's get back to the subject. You said that Dude Man's father had doubts about the false memories. Was he the only one in the government who felt this way? He must have been something. I mean, then again, he also named his only child Dude Man, so...
He was very smart. He was. He stole the only remaining model of the memory erasure device. He escaped to the outside world with several of his colleagues.
Sorry.
Yawning.
I'm sure the government must have been quick to send someone after them.
Yes. The government soldiers had one goal, to retrieve the memory erasure device. They searched all over the outside world for him, but he was always one step ahead, unlike my reading skills. Instead of taking the device with him into exile, he hid it inside of the doomed city itself. He reconfigured it.
Sound like you said doomed city.
Oh.
Might have been the accent.
No, I think I did. Yeah, I meant to say... I should have said don't, but I accidentally said doomed.
This one's not doomed. Yet.
He reconfigured it into that watch so that no one would be able to identify it.
And then he gave the watch to Dude Man.
Yes. To the one person he could trust, someone who didn't know the power of the object he held.
And that's when your leader formed the Z Syndicate.
And all this time, the Z Syndicate's goal has actually been to inform the people of the truth. It was at first. We wanted people to know the truth, to prepare themselves in case Rahu did attack again. But as time passed, he began to worry, to doubt himself.
He started to doubt his own doubts about the ethics.
Yeah. He began to worry that informing everyone of the truth would only trigger mass panic. Sorry. He realized that it might be best to find a way to stop Rahu without having the people know about it. That was the moment when my leader formed a syndicate made up of the strongest fighters. My accent's going weird again, sorry.
It's all this talking, probably.
Yeah, strong fighters. And that's when he recruited you? I wanted to save this ruined world. In order to do that, I knew I would have to help him. He told me he needed someone to support him, no matter how insane his orders might seem. But you could have told Marsha before you left. You owed her at least that much, didn't you? To be honest, I had planned on leaving Marsha before I met your father. I'm just a jerk like that, you know? My sister would do anything I told her. If I'd stayed, she would never have left my shadow. It was unacceptable, unthinkable. I wanted her to think for herself, to grow into the commander she is. I thought that if I weren't around, she would have the opportunity she needed to think for herself. That's why I left the way I did. But I always watched over her. I would have come to her aid in a second if she were ever in danger.
Yo, except for the danger of mental trauma.
Yes. I left even though I knew I ran the risk of alienating her, of making her hate me for leaving her.
Sergei, I've learned something. My partners taught me something more valuable than I'd realized.
The power of friendship.
Spoiling someone isn't love. Sometimes you need to be strict in order to be compassionate. That's when I figured it out. That's why I knew that my older brother still cared about me. They still loved me. And I wondered if that wasn't why you had left me in the first place. They helped me to understand. That's why I still hate you.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Sergei.
You've grown. So strong, Marsha.
The more I hear about this, the more complicated the situation gets.
I agree.
Still, after hearing all of that, it sounds like Z formed in order to help out mankind. But what about Oboro? That guy wanted Rahu for himself.
When our leader grew ill, Oboro and Eliza made a grab for power. That's when it began to crumble. The more they knew about Rahu's amazing powers, the more they wanted to possess it. They'd forgotten our leader's goals, and they planned such foolishness as diving into Rahu.
I guess there's always one selfish sicko in every group.
I acted as Oboro's subordinate, while looking for the chance to strike back.
But wait, why was Eliza at the lab? Did it have something to do with Rahu?
Oboro and Eliza both knew that the memory erasure device was the key to destroying Rahu. But they didn't know our leader had already stolen it. He was never sure he could trust them. They wanted that device so they could tame Rahu for their own ends instead of destroying it. Eliza must have thought that the custom Robo research lab would have such a device. That's why she attacked the lab.
See? Just as I thought. Eliza thought the device was at the research lab. I am smart. I think just like the Z Syndicate's leaders.
Which simply shows how flawed her thinking truly is. We've spoken long enough. Indeed. Dude man, may I borrow your watch? I have a chip your father gave me. I am going to insert it into your watch now.
It is a Dorito.
Once I've inserted the chip, the watch's memory erasure functions will be restored. I understand. I'll give you my watch. Thank you. Please wait. Please wait while I insert the chip.
Good grief, that took about 2 full episodes of time.
I was just thinking, before we forget, there was something you said before we started the episode. It was like, that was shorter.
Oh, I thought it would be shorter than I anticipated.
Yeah.
That's something I said.
Think about that. And how much sense it doesn't make.
It's like, wait. Hold up.
Right, I've inserted the chip into your watch. The memory erasure device is now functional. Dude man, I believe this is still yours. Your father put it in your hands for a reason. Point towards your target and activate it. I understand.
Just point at yourself. Alright, I'm going to give this a test run.
We're almost near the end. Let's go destroy Rahu.
Do you know where to find it?
I've attached the tracking device to Rahu. If it's still transmitting, we'll know where Rahu is.
I thought you couldn't destroy it. You could only temporarily make it go dormant.
I guess that's what we're gonna do. Let's hurry. With every passing second, Rahu continues to evolve. It's still evolving?
More talking.
Like I said before, Rahu evolves. Rahu is especially drawn to negative feelings. Hatred, envy, greed. It absorbs that mental energy, uses it to fuel its metamorphosis.
Okay then.
So that's why it looked different every time we've seen it.
It's not just its appearance that's changing. It's growing stronger with each evolution, yes. The device will erase Rahu's genetic memory, so that it stops evolving. I fear that Rahu is resting now, preparing for its next evolution. We can defeat it if we erase its memory and eliminate its advantage. Let's go.
Jeez.
That reminds me, it's already been like half a year, but I watched it recently. In Hololive English, they did a collaboration with some of the Japanese Hololive VTubers. They did Among Us, but it was like half a year ago, so it was, when it was still, worth watching sort of thing.
Right.
One of the Japanese girls said, how do you say let's go in English? But she said let's go. She's like, it's let's go. It's like, let's go.
What? Like, what did she think it was?
Like, I guess she assumed let's go might not have been English. Because, once you, I don't know what the word would be, but transliterate, I guess, into like a Japanese writing system, it would be retsugo. But it was funny. And now we got a huge crew. And it's already about time to end the episode. Jeez.
Yeah.
Dang, that was a lot of talking.
No, there's one thing I remember about this conversation as it was happening, and that is it was extremely long.
I feel like there was something else I also wanted to add, but I can't remember. Oh well, I guess we'll end it here then.
I suppose so.
All right, so we'll see you next time.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye. Oh yeah, I wanted to say, anyone who's watching, rate my Russian accent, because I think it might be bad. But yeah, whatever. See you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.